Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to my video. This is a paid request for Jonathan. He sent about 3 of them. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I'll get to them as soon as I can. But he wanted me to talk about an Incredible Hulk episode called Slaves, which I've liked quite a few episodes of The Incredible Hulk, and even the weaker ones, I don't mind, but I wouldn't say I was a huge fan of this episode. It was what it was, but I don't think it's definitely not one of my favorite episodes from the show. Bill Bixby, still always great to see him. Hulk, there's about 2 times where he hulks out, and either one is kind of just there. I think because, the story, there's an interesting part of the story, but for the good chunk of the episode, really not much happens. Maybe that's what it was. Bill Bixby, the lonely man himself, David Banner, is walking like usual. Meets this woman whose car is trashed. He tries to help. He's like, no, that's okay. I think there's a town 30 miles away. She started walking. He walks after her. As they're walking, this guy named Isaac, played by John Hancock, which I've seen him in this few stuff. He was in this film called Collision Course back in the day with Jay Leno. He's been in a few other stuff, worked a lot of TV. Seems like a nice guy. Takes the two of them in to this little dinky town where there's a ghost town. Nobody else is in there. And ultimately has a gun on them and says, you're going to be my slaves. And you're going to join this other guy played by Jeffrey Kramer. And I recognize the guy. He was I don't want to say the deputy in Jaws and Jaws 2. He was the cop working under Roy Scheider, working for him. That's Jeffrey Kramer, and that was the guy. And Isaac, played by John Hancock, and this other guy, his character's name is Roy, they want these 3 to dig up this mine. Because Isaac and Roy think that there's gold in these mines. They try to find out there are. They find the vein where the gold's at. And then Roy and Isaac argue. Roy wants to come in with big heavy equipment, so we'll just get the gold out that way. Isaac is like, no, it's too high profile. If someone else comes along, we'll kidnap them and make them work the mine. And Roy's like, but that's going to take forever, and what are you doing? And you know what? That guy David is right. You just get off on this game. The game being, and maybe this is why Jonathan requested this, because this is an interesting angle. John Hancock is black. So he's this black guy who is tired of the history of slavery, of his great-grandfather, whatever, went through. So he wants a bit of that power. He wants a bit of that to have fun with. And here's 3 white people that he could order around. And he loves being a slave master. Now, I do wish that if you don't go that route, it would have got a bit more into conversations. They do a little bit. But if David Banner could have been able to have more conversation with this guy about how it's wrong no matter what race it is, and 2 wrongs don't make a right. Maybe better verbiage than that, but if there's a bit more discussion, a bit more of that dialogue, I think that would have been appreciative. Instead, there's the woman doesn't want to eat. It's okay if I don't want to eat, then you will eventually. And Jeffrey Kramer talking about this other guy he knew. That he was actually his brother, who fell in a hole and died. At one point, Roy is getting Jeffrey Kramer worked up, and for some reason, which this did not make sense to me, Roy is the one saying all these insults, saying all this crap about Jeffrey Kramer's brother. So Jeffrey Kramer decides to beat up David Banner. Now, I don't think Roy was saying, you better beat him up or I'm going to shoot you. It was more just riling him up, he'd get mad, and then just taking it out on David. I'm like, what the hell did David do? And then I don't think Jeffrey Kramer's character ever apologized. So I don't really like that character. I thought he was a whiny dick. If he had apologized and said, I'm so sorry, David, I lost it, I didn't mean to take it out on you, then maybe I could have liked his character a bit more, but that never really comes into play. He just beats the hell out of David and then throws him through the floor just so that he could Hulk out. He comes out and then, like, pushes a piano towards Roy, breaks out. I think throws one more thing and then just runs away. So there's really not much of a Hulk out, just very brief. Also, the fact that none of these characters ever put two and two together to go, wait a minute. That's where David went through. Then all of a sudden this green Hulk comes out, and they never put two and two together and go, maybe they're the same guy? Like, ooh, someone fell through the floor and came out with the same pants and the same shards of shirt that David was wearing. And then when Isaac was to be, I don't think he saw the Hulk, but Roy would have told him about it. So would the others. When he finds David, now that he's back to being David, he sees that his shirt is all torn apart. And Isaac doesn't think anything of it. Get back to work. Now, you would think when he walked back, they would notice, wait a minute, your clothes are torn up. Your shirts are torn up. Those pants look like the pants that green guy had. And that shirt kind of looks like the shirt that Green Hulk was torn apart wearing. Same color, same mate, same model. Like, no one's going to put two and two together as to, why are you wearing the same stuff that green guy wore? And why did he come out at the same spot you fell through? In this middle of nowhere ghost town. Where apparently these two have had Jeffrey Kramer working for however long. A month, whatever. And never saw anybody else there. I don't know. So that was bothering me. David doesn't have a whole lot to do. There's not, I mean, the whole a black guy loving to be a slave master could be interesting. But they don't really go much further than that. When I think they could have, and that could have been some interesting discussion and drama put upon that. Pretty much, spoilers, they keep mining. When the two are away, David, the girl, and Jeffrey Kramer try to use these pickaxes to try to get this chain off that they're all chained together with. Roy threatens that I'm going to blow you up soon with this dynamite, and they tell Isaac, and Isaac, oh, he's just saying it. So I guess like Isaac has a little bit of heart that he doesn't want to kill people, but Roy doesn't care. But here's what I don't understand about the Roy character, which I recognize the actor. I know I've seen him in other stuff. I can't remember exactly where, but I have seen him in stuff. I just have to look it up real quick. But what does blowing up the mine help? How does that help? Like, it doesn't help at all. Yeah, Charles Tinner. Yeah, I know I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He played the character Gus in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Let's see, he was in... Let me double check real quick. Sorry about this. A lot of TV work. He was in Pete's Dragon, the original. He was in... That's what. Okay, now I know why I recognize him. There was this 1988 film called Pulse, starring Joey Lawrence and Cliff DeYoung. It's a film I quite liked. He was the old man warning about there's something in the walls, in the wall sockets. Pull the plug. That old man in that movie was the guy roaring this. Granted, not many of you have seen Pulse, so you'd be like, who? What? But actually, that's just my own personal reference. But what does blowing up the mine help you get the gold out? Okay, you need heavy equipment machinery. You obviously have connections. But won't you have to go through all that rubble from blow up the mine to get to where the gold's at? Wouldn't blow up the mine actually be a bad idea? Wouldn't that be the worst idea? Is have the mine collapse? How does collapse in the mine help you get the gold for the mine? Like, don't you want it open so the machinery could go in and start digging and go in and out and help you get the gold quicker? Don't go blow up the mine and collapse all the shit. We'll figure out eventually with the machinery. It's like we need... No, we need to find a way where he's using dynamite so the whole place is collapsing so that David could get trapped, become the Hulk again, save John Hancock's character from dying in the mine, and then play around with Roy, who throws dynamite, the Hulk catches it, throws it back, little piece blows up, and it blows Roy through the window. And then they're pretty much done. Jeffrey Kramer and the girl get the two. John Hancock's hurt. The other guy's tied up. They think David died. Which makes sense. David can't go to the cops or anything, so might as well make them think he's dead. And then he's off walking again. Somehow with brand new clothes that look nice and tidy and clean. I mean, he was just in a mine and they all got, rubble and dirt, and he was hulked out so his clothes would be torn apart, and he's in a ghost town in the middle of nowhere, but all of a sudden he's got nice clothes, clean clothes, brand new. Don't know where the hell they came from. Maybe he's got something in his back pocket. I don't know. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make sense to me. There's not a whole lot that happens. The idea of a black guy loving to be a slave master, interesting idea, but I think they could have done a lot more with it. There's not a lot of action in the episode. The reporter McGee is in the credits, but he's not in the episode. I mean, you only have 4 other actors to work with. The girls was just there. Jeffrey Kramer, because of his behavior, his character got on my nerves a bit, and beat up poor David when he did nothing to you. Maybe dislike the character, because I really like Bill Bixby. He does what he can, but I say he doesn't really have a whole lot to say and talk about in this episode. There's a few times he's trying to appeal to John Hancock, but there could have been a lot more of that. And even the Hulk didn't really get to do a whole lot. He gets some debris off of Jane Hancock. He throws back the dynamite. He pushes a piano. That's pretty much it. And, yeah, this is not really one of my favorite episodes of the show. But, I mean, it does show you that with Bill Bixby and, you get to see Lou Ferrigno's freakish physique. Even the weaker episodes can at least be just watchable compared to a lot of other stuff today. I mean, this I would watch than any other She-Hulk episode. So there you go. But yeah, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.